Let's get one thing straight. Real obsession, the kind that lasts, doesn't come from pretending to be someone you're not. It's not about playing hard to get or using tricks. It's about unlocking a version of yourself that is so magnetic, so in tune with who you are, that he can't help but be pulled into your orbit. Obsession starts with presence, your energy, when you walk in the room. It's not about beauty, it's about depth. It's about how you carry yourself when no one's watching, how deeply you believe in your own worth, and how little you chase what doesn't recognize it. You don't make a man obsessed by giving more, begging more, or doing more. You do it by knowing your value and offering access only to those who earn it. If he doesn't have to work for your attention, your emotions, or your time, he won't value it. But when he sees that your time is precious, your standards are high, and your love is powerful but not free, that's when the shift happens. You become the woman he can't stop thinking about because you're the one who doesn't need him, you choose him. And nothing drives obsession more than the fear of losing something rare. So let's get into it. Not from a place of control, but from a place of deep self-worth. Here are 4 powerful shifts that will make any man crave your presence and obsess over your essence. If you want someone to be obsessed with you, truly obsessed, not just interested, not just entertained, then the foundation must begin with this: you have to fall in love with yourself first. And I'm not talking about surface-level self-love. I'm talking about radical, deep, unwavering love for the person you are and the person you're still becoming. Because here's the truth. No one can value you more than you value you. If you don't believe you're worthy, if you don't see the light you carry, if you're constantly apologizing for taking up space, you'll subconsciously teach him to see you the same way. People mirror what you project. If you show up unsure of your worth, always questioning yourself, seeking constant validation, he may feel flattered, but he won't be obsessed. Obsession is magnetic, and you don't get magnetism by shrinking. So how do you fall in love with yourself in a way that shifts your energy and makes a man crave your presence? Start by asking this: do I even know who I am when I'm not trying to impress anyone? Because often we lose ourselves in the chase. We become what we think he wants: prettier, quieter, more agreeable, more available. But that's not love. That's performance. And obsession doesn't come from a performance. It comes from presence. Authentic, bold, unshakable presence. Falling in love with yourself means you stop waiting to be chosen. You realize you are the one doing the choosing. You're not auditioning. You're not competing. You're curating, because your heart, your time, your energy, they are not cheap. They are priceless. It's in the way you wake up and honor your morning. The way you dress, not to be seen, but to reflect the way you see yourself. It's the way you speak about yourself, even in your thoughts. Are you kind to yourself? Do you cheer yourself on like you would a friend? Or are you constantly picking apart everything you think is wrong? Self-love also means boundaries. You don't say yes to things that drain you just to be liked. You don't keep people around just to feel wanted. You don't settle for breadcrumbs when you deserve the whole feast. You train the world, including him, how to treat you by the way you treat yourself. You start doing things that fill you up, not just to look good for someone else, but because it makes you feel alive. You chase your own goals. You build your own joy. You invest in your own peace. Because here's the secret: when you become the source of your own happiness, people feel that, and it's intoxicating. Men, the right men, don't obsess over the woman who's desperate for attention. They obsess over the woman who doesn't need it to feel whole. The woman who could walk away and still be complete. The woman who is full of love, but not starving for it. That kind of woman, she's unforgettable. She's powerful. She's rare. And let's be real, when you genuinely love yourself, your standards rise. Not in a harsh way, but in a soft, secure way. You're not afraid to walk away when things don't serve your growth. You don't beg, you don't chase, you don't shrink, you stand in your truth. And men feel that energy. They respect it, they crave it, they obsess over it, because it's so uncommon. So fall in love with yourself, deeply, completely, relentlessly. Get to know your magic again. Stop waiting for him to see you and see yourself first. Because when you do that, When you show up in the world already full, you become unforgettable. And that right there is where obsession begins. There's something powerful about a woman who doesn't tell you everything all at once. She speaks in a way that draws you in, not by hiding who she is, but by showing just enough to make you want more. Let's clear this up right away. Being mysterious isn't about playing games. It's not about manipulation or pretending you're busy when you're not. That's being secretive, and people can sense when you're being performative. The kind of mystery we're talking about here is deeper. It's magnetic. It's real. Mystery is when your presence lingers in a room long after you've left. It's when a man finds himself replaying your words because you didn't overshare or overexplain. You gave him something to wonder about, to unpack, to pursue. And that's the point. Obsession is born when there's something left to chase. Too often, women overexplain themselves too quickly, out of fear. Fear of losing someone's attention, fear of being misunderstood, fear of not being chosen. So we end up laying everything on the table. On the first few conversations, our dreams, our trauma, our thoughts, our availability, our love languages, our wounds, our exes, all within days. But here's the truth. When everything is exposed too soon, there's nothing left to discover. And discovery is the fuel for obsession. When a man feels like he's constantly learning you, that there's always something new about you, he stays intrigued, he stays connected. He keeps thinking about you because he hasn't figured you out, and that's the beauty of mystery. You're an unfolding story, not an open book thrown at him in one sitting. Think about it. The most unforgettable characters in any movie or book are the ones with layers. You know they have depth, but it's revealed slowly. You sense there's more underneath. And every time you peel back a layer, you don't lose interest. You lean in deeper. So how do you apply that in real life? Simple. You become more intentional with how much you share and when. You give people access to you in stages, not because you're hiding anything, but because you're respecting your own energy. You're not rushing to be understood. You're allowing someone to earn understanding. That means not trauma dumping on the second date. It means not texting paragraphs to someone who hasn't earned deep access to your thoughts. It means letting the relationship unfold naturally, allowing curiosity to build. It also means becoming deeply interesting to yourself. You can't be mysterious if you're empty inside. A woman with mystery is often a woman who has a rich inner world. She reads, she travels, she explores, she reflects. She has interests, hobbies, passions, and she doesn't need to advertise all of them at once. She has boundaries, not walls. She isn't cold, she's just selective. There's warmth in her smile, but strength in her silence. And that silence, it's loud. It speaks volumes. Because she knows who she is, and she doesn't need to prove anything. And let's be honest, we live in a world of overexposure. Social media has made everyone available all the time. Everyone's posting what they're eating, thinking, feeling, doing 24/7. So when a woman moves differently, when she doesn't post every move, when she's hard to read, when she's not always available, she stands out. She becomes the one they think about, the one who interrupts the pattern. Mystery creates space, and in that space, longing grows. Imagination grows. That's where obsession begins, not in oversharing, but in the unknown. So be mysterious. Not to manipulate, but to protect your depth. Don't give every part of you to people who haven't earned it. Don't explain yourself so quickly that he has nothing left to ask. Be the story he wants to keep reading. Not because you're hiding the pages, but because you know your worth can't be summed up in one chapter. The woman who holds her depth with confidence and grace, she becomes unforgettable. And unforgettable women don't need to chase obsession. It follows them. One of the biggest shifts you'll ever make in your love life, and honestly your whole life, is this: stop chasing people and start choosing yourself. Obsession doesn't grow when you're running after someone, proving your worth, or constantly trying to convince someone to see you. Obsession grows when you become the reward. Now, let's be real. We've all been conditioned to believe that love must be earned by doing more, giving more, showing more, sacrificing more. So we bend. we overextend, we overgive, and without realizing it, we become the chaser. We put someone else on a pedestal and then wonder why they don't value us the way we deserve. But think about it. When was the last time you obsessed over someone who was constantly begging for your attention, over-explaining, or trying to prove they were good enough for you? Probably never. That's because neediness doesn't trigger obsession. Value does. When you see yourself as the reward, your entire energy shifts. You no longer approach relationships from a place of lack. You approach them from a place of power. You know that your time, your energy, your emotional investment, these things are sacred. Not everyone deserves them. They're not given freely to anyone who smiles your way. They're earned. So how do you embody that energy? First, stop over-pursuing. If you're always initiating, always texting first, always planning the next meetup, pause. Take a step back and ask, why am I leading all of this? If he's not matching your effort, it's not because he's bad at texting or busy, it's because he's not that invested yet. And by you doing all the work, you're removing his motivation to ever be. Being the reward means allowing someone to pursue you. That doesn't mean playing hard to get. It means you are hard to get, not because you're cold or distant, but because you have a full life. You're busy, you're focused, you're intentional. Your world doesn't revolve around someone you barely know. You don't rearrange your entire day just because someone showed interest. And that's powerful. Second, you stop proving your worth. You don't need to send the perfect text, post the perfect selfie, cook the perfect dinner, or bend over backward to show him how amazing you are. You already know you're amazing. You show up as yourself, confident, grounded, and real. And the right person? He'll see it without you having to scream it. Third, you operate from abundance, not scarcity. The chaser energy comes from fear, fear of losing him, fear of being alone, fear of missing out. But when you're the reward, you know that if this connection doesn't work out, it's not the end of your story. It's just one chapter. You trust that love is abundant. You believe in your own magnetism. You're not desperate, you're desired. And lastly, you set standards and you stick to them. You don't lower your expectations just because you like someone. You don't justify poor communication, mixed signals, or inconsistency. You don't reward half effort with full access to you. You know that emotional intimacy, physical closeness, and your presence are not things to be handed out casually. They're for the man who shows up fully, consistently, clearly, and respectfully. You become the reward by remembering who the hell you are. You stop auditioning. You stop begging. You stop chasing people who aren't running toward you. And here's the secret. When you pull your energy back and focus on you, your goals, your glow up, your healing, your passion, you become magnetic. He will feel the difference. He'll notice the shift. And if he's the right man, he will lean in harder. He will chase. He will obsess. Not because you manipulated him, but because your energy made him want to. Because he realized what's at stake if he doesn't rise to the occasion. You're not the chaser. You're the experience. You're the woman he tells his friends about. The one who made him level up. The one who didn't just give herself away, she made him earn it. And that's the woman he'll never forget. If you want a man to truly obsess over you, not just be interested, not just attracted, but fully emotionally invested, then you need to understand something called the hero instinct. Every man, no matter how successful, confident, or emotionally guarded he may appear, has an internal desire to feel like a protector, a provider, and a purpose-driven partner. This isn't about ego or dominance. It's biological, emotional, and deeply embedded. When you tap into that instinct, when you trigger it, he doesn't just like you, he becomes devoted to you. Here's the twist, though. Most women accidentally deactivate this instinct. They overfunction in relationships. They become overly independent, to the point where he doesn't feel needed. Or they do everything for him, robbing him of the opportunity to step up, solve problems, and offer something of value. So let's break it down. How do you actually trigger the hero instinct in a way that's authentic, non-manipulative, and deeply empowering for both of you? It starts with space, not emotional distance, but energetic room for him to rise. You don't need to prove that you can do everything yourself. Yes, you're strong. Yes, you're capable. But obsession doesn't grow when you make him feel unnecessary. It grows when he feels important in your life, when he sees that his presence brings something meaningful to your world. Let him do things for you. Let him help you fix something. Let him offer his advice when you're stuck. Let him carry the heavy bag, open the jar, plan the date, not because you can't, but because you're inviting his masculine energy to express itself. Men don't fall in love with women who need them. They fall in love with women who inspire them to be more. You also trigger this instinct by trusting his judgment. Ask for his opinion. Value his input. Let him lead sometimes. Again, not because you're incapable, but because you're secure enough in yourself to receive. This doesn't make you weak. It makes you emotionally intelligent. And men are drawn to women who know when to lead and when to lean in. Here's the nuance. You are not damseling. You are not playing helpless. You are not pretending to be smaller than you are. You are showing him that you respect his masculinity and that you have the emotional wisdom to create a dynamic where both of you get to win. You also trigger the hero instinct by showing genuine appreciation when he does something, anything, even small. Acknowledge it. Say thank you. Not with over-the-top praise, but with sincerity. Men thrive on appreciation the way women thrive on emotional safety. If he starts to feel like what he's doing doesn't matter, he'll withdraw. But if he feels seen, he'll lean in. And perhaps the most powerful way to awaken this instinct, let him protect your heart. That means vulnerability. That means letting him see you, not just the strong, perfect version, but the version that feels deeply. You don't need to cry on command or overshare, but you do need to show him that you trust him with your truth. Because when a man sees that you've chosen to be soft with him, despite being strong on your own, he feels honored, he feels chosen, and that's when he starts to protect the connection. You see, men don't obsess over the woman who's always performing strength. They obsess over the woman who is strong. Yes, but who also lets him be strong for her. They crave a space where they can step into their power, and they only do that when they're around a woman who allows it without controlling it. So if you want to create obsession, don't push, don't pull, don't prove. Create a space where he gets to rise, offer, lead, and protect. And when he does, reward it with your appreciation, your softness, your time, and your heart. You're not giving up your power. You're inviting his, and when that balance is struck, when he feels like a man in your presence, not because you're less, but because you're whole, that's when obsession takes root. Not just the kind that fades after a few months, but the kind that makes him think about you every day. The kind that makes him ask, how did I ever live without her?